Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. Today we have some PvP content for a change. I put myself through the torture that is the modern day Crucible by testing one of the new Taken weapons that dropped with Season 21 against your Peacekeeper Titan mains. We are taking a look at the Taken Pulse Rifle different times. We will review the best rolls for PvP, whether it can hold its own against other Pulse Rifles, and much more. Blood, sweat and tears go into the making of my videos, so drop that like button a slap if you do enjoy this, or if you find it informative. Let's begin. So, different times is the Taken reskinned version of the Outlast Pulse Rifle that dropped with Season 21, a strand rapid fire frame that sits in a kinetic slot. In PvP, rapid fires have an optimal time to kill of around 0.73 seconds at tier 4 resilience or below, and 0.8 seconds above tier 5 resilience, doing 14 damage per body shot, with precision hits doing 24 damage at optimal range. Due to its base stats, damage drop-off starts at 30 meters, which can be maxed out at around 32 meters with the right perks, but overall its stats are absolutely terrible. Compared to other base stats of weapons of the same archetype, such as Autumn Wind, every major stat is inferior, including the range, stability, reload, handling, and even the recoil, as you can see on screen. The gun has a horrible recoil pattern, veering off to the left massively. Without our head brake and counterbalance mods, the gun is barely usable. The lack of range on this weapon is very noticeable when dueling other longer range weapons such as high impact pulses or scouts, making it only effective at medium to close range. Its origin trait, Unsated Hunger, requires you to burn all your abilities to be effective, granting 20 points to stability, handling and reload. Whilst this might be useful in game modes like momentum control, in regular PvP where ability spam is unfortunately still a thing, it's counterintuitive, therefore not a great perk. Not off to a great start, are we? If I have not put you off this weapon as of yet, or you do not have a God Roll rapid fire kinetic frame pulse, the best rolls are as follows. For the Masterwork, normally I would suggest stability on a pulse rifle, but this one has such a poor base range stat, you'll want to feed into range to allow it to be effective at medium range. In the first column, polygonal rifling may sound great, granting a significant boost of stability, but the gun will kick horribly due to the recoil still. Arrowhead brake, which we mentioned previously, alongside counterbalance stock, will max out the recoil direction to 97 from 52, which is significant. For the second column, you have a choice between ricochet rounds or high caliber rounds. Ricochet rounds provide the best benefits to stability and range, whereas high cal causes more flinch to opponents. Both solid options, I personally always go for ricochet. That's the base roll. For the third and fourth columns, we need to do a bit of a breakdown. For the third column, there are 3 decent PvP options, starting with a new perk called Invisible Hand. After missing a few bursts, the perk procs for a short period of time, granting the weapon 25 stability until the perk deactivates. Whilst it sounds good, you would purposely have to pre-fire the weapon around the corner to proc the perk, and it's only active for a few seconds, so unless you have the worst aim in D2 PvP Crucible, you can ignore this perk. It also deactivates on reloading the weapon. Then you have Moving Target, very strong PvP option, which grants the user enhanced movement when aiming down sights, alongside bonus aim assist. This perk, paired with Head Seeker, which on hitting a body shot increases precision damage from 24 to 26, it is a very good roll. From a passive gameplay, guns only point of view, this is the best roll for PvP, but you need to think, is this roll better than other weapons of the same archetype? Autumn Wind in the same slot can roll Perpetual Motion and Head Seeker alongside much stronger base stats. Why would you use this roll on different times? I wouldn't. Finally, on the third column, Heating Up presents itself. On kill, this weapon grants 15 stability per stack on kill, completely reducing the recoil of the weapon to 0. In my personal opinion, this perk just works better on this weapon, especially when combined with damage perks in the fourth column. Firstly, Adrenaline Junkie is a decent option, with a decent grenade build such as Hunter Ahamkara or Titan Ashen Wake. Getting ×5 Adrenaline Junkie grants a 33% damage buff to the pulse rifle, and getting kills at ×5 will kick off Heating Up, turning weapon into a literal laser beam. However, the perk that is best suited with Heating Up in the final column is Golden Tricorn. At ×1 stacks, it grants the weapon a 15% damage buff increase on kill, which is higher than the 1 stack of Adrenaline Junkie, which only grants 6%. Then, if paired with a strand ability build, getting a melee or grenade kill whilst the stack is active will grant ×2 stacks, allowing the weapon to do 50% damage for 10 seconds, which is very significant. Grapple melee hunter builds, such as the Facade, Threadbane grenade builds such as the Warlock Swarmer setup, or Synthocept melee Titan builds will get the full advantage of this roll. So my suggested roll is as follows: Range Masterwork due to the base range stat, Arrowhead brake for recoil control, ricochet rounds for stability and range bumps, then heating up and golden tricorn, giving stability and damage buffs on kill. This weapon is not great, people. I took it into trials to test it and came away wanting to throw the controller at the screen. The moving target headseeker roll is good on paper, but the range is extremely poor and causes the weapon to be inconsistent at longer ranges, whilst in 6s it just struggles due to the current meta, although the heating up golden tricorn roll can turn it into an absolute monster. It gets a 3 out of 5 on the alchemist scale. There are just far better options out there, such as Autumn Wind and Peace of Mind. I would give it a 2 if it wasn't for the fact it would work well with strand builds. Straight into the vault after this video is done. That's it for this video. Make it to the end? Great. Slap that like button if so, and let me know in the comments what you think about this weapon. Next up, we've got some void builds coming. We need to cover those and more weapon reviews, such as the new Taken hand cannon. This was Plasma Alchemist. Your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time, see you later.